Okay, let's have a look at designer resources. The first is Fiverr. Now, Fiverr, you probably know, is one of the cheaper places to get outsourced work done. The problem is with the Teespring t-shirts on Fiverr, it's very hit and miss. There are a lot of people designing t-shirts on Fiverr, and even though a lot of them have good reviews, a lot of these good reviews are either paid or they're just people that haven't seen any better, and they just think these shirts are great. I've been in the game for a long time now, and I can tell you it's very hard to find a good designer who's willing to go the extra mile for you and give you the revisions that you need. It's very hard, to get what you have in your head into a design, and it takes a very special designer to be able to understand what you're telling him or her and create that logo, create that design for you. In the next couple of slides, I'm going to be showing you my favorite designers. One of them are on Fiverr, but I do suggest, if you're using Fiverr, just to be a little bit careful. You are going to get the odd bad design. If you're just sort of fishing around on your own and you're not too sure, you are going to run into a few problems, a few bad designers, people who don't understand English very well, and people who can't really understand the concept and take what you're saying in context and put it into a design. So just be careful there. The second place that you can get your artwork done is devianart. And these guys have got some of the best designers I've ever seen on the internet. I mean, you only have to go through there for 5 minutes to know that you're in the right place for design. They are a bit pricey though, over at devianart, but you are paying for quality. I can highly recommend devianart if you want very high quality work done. Like I said, I'm going to be looking at my favorite designers that I use for t-shirts, and the first guy, Rod, he's used by a lot of the gurus in the business. A lot of people use Rod, and they're probably going to be upset that I'm giving them to you guys. A lot of these, I mean, you're going to find in most Teespring courses, people aren't going to give away their favorite designer. They hide it away. They don't want people to know. They don't want people to work with them. It's like their special contact, but I'm more than happy to share this guy with you. Not only is he awesome, he's going to make you successful. Well, he's certainly going to help make you successful, but I think it's only fair that I share what I found to be successful, and I don't want to steer you down the wrong path and have you doing all the correct work and everything I teach you only to be put off by a bad design. All right, and then I'll just briefly touch again on your own sources, what to look for and what not to look for. Okay, so let's have a look at the next screen. Rodrigo, seriously, look at these designs. This guy is killer. Like I've said here, the best Teespring and overall designer I've come across in the business. So this guy he doesn't only do t-shirts. I mean, he can do your sales pages, he can do squeeze pages, websites, anything you need. Rod is the guy to go to, and I just want to say it right now, Rod's not paying me anything to tell you this, okay? He was pretty stoked when I told him I was going to feature him in this course, and he's prepared for the extra work. I know that he's going to get a lot of extra work out of this, but if you want one of the best, if not the best, Teespring t-shirt designers, you need to get in contact with Rod, okay? Like I said, look at these designs, how detailed they are. Some of the campaigns that he does for, some big sellers in Teespring, including myself, just absolutely kill it. If you want quality, this is the only guy to go to. Now, to get in contact with Rod, here's his details, his Facebook, his email, and his Skype. He's fairly quick with a turnaround. Obviously he's going to be a lot busier now that I've told everyone about him, but hang in there, and work with Rod. He's a great guy to deal with. Not only is his command of English perfect, but he's going to be able to take what you've given him and just completely blow it up, and it's going to freak you out. 9 times out of 10 it's just going to come back with a design you're going to say, wow, I didn't expect it to be that good, or for you to understand so deeply what I wanted. And I mean, Rod understands the niches, he understands what you're trying to target, and he will work the design accordingly. Very smart guy, and I couldn't praise him anymore. The guy is a genius. Okay, the next person is K's Design. Now this is the guy on Fiverr that I was telling you about just before, the best tea designer on Fiverr, hands down. Now I know that these designs look a little bit more simple compared to Rod's, but he always gets to the point, and a lot of the designs, the really, really good designs, are obviously hidden on Fiverr, okay, and I'm not going to show them, the very, very popular ones, because they're his clients, they've asked him to hide them from the Fiverr portfolio, so you can't see them. But this guy is also, a very quick turnaround. He'll understand what you want, and he's a great guy. I mean, he's really funny to deal with, and doesn't mind doing the odd revision. He'll also provide you with a PSD file. So if you're a little bit of a creator, designer yourself, and you want to make some tweaks quickly without having to send back a revision, for an extra $10 you get the PSD file, and you can even change your words up. I mean, if you had a campaign that you could just switch out the word and rinse and repeat and do it over and over and over, these repeatable campaigns are killers. A PSD file is perfect. That's all you need. If you're a little bit creative, like I said, you know what to do with Photoshop. It's perfect, and it's really cheap. So if you're going to look on Fiverr, personally I wouldn't look any further than Case Design. Here's a link here, so just make a note of that. And you can tell him I sent you. He knows he's been featured. He didn't know he was featured in my previous guide, in my Teespring Domination book, and he couldn't figure out why he was getting really busy. He didn't know what he had done, and I finally got in contact with him and just said hi, and told him what I'd done, and he freaked out. So he's really happy that I'm featuring him here. Like I said, he's just like Rod. This guy's not paying me anything. All right, I'm not getting paid to push these guys. I'm not trying to promote them for any gain. I'm just telling you straight off the bat that if you want the quality designs, these are the two guys that you need to work with. All right, there are no better. All right, and like I said, your own sources. If you're going to be using your own sources, unless you're very close to them and you've worked with them very closely before, you need to be careful, because you don't want to be wasting time if you're going to be attacking a trend. You need to get your design done properly the first time, maybe a little tweak here and there, but there's no point in wasting time and mucking around and waiting for another 24 hours to get something sent back to you. It's just someone else is going to get a shirt out there before you, or the trend's going to die. It's just a waste of time and money. And if you are dealing with your own sources, with your own designers, it is imperative that you tell them exactly what you want, what not to use, what colors not to use. If they're a good designer, they'll understand design, and color coordinations, and what appeals to what kind of people, buying colors, colors that put people off. A good designer will be able to psychoanalyze your audience and understand what they're like. For example, I know this sounds silly, but it's very important. I targeted neurologists once, and I had a t-shirt with a really cool slogan on it. I switched it out with a nurse one that I'd done. The nurse one sold, it was about 1,500 shirts, around about there. And I thought I'd switch it out and do it for neurologists. Now, the way that the brain was coloured on this particular shirt upset them all, because they were used to some kind of colour, chart that they'd used in their studies or whatnot. I didn't understand it. I've got no idea what they're talking about. But all I saw in the comments were complaints that this particular portion of the brain should be this color, and it killed the campaign. It just killed it. I couldn't even be bothered redoing it and going and researching it. I just left it. I mean, these people were so upset. And it's the same for some of the Irish t-shirts. I mean, you don't target Irish with the color orange. So like I said, if you're going to be dealing with your own designer, it is very important that they understand your niche. It's very important that they understand what they don't like, and it's very important that they're able to clearly communicate with you and very quickly, and understand the context that you're trying to tell them as to how to design your tee, because there's 1,000,001 different ways to design a logo, and they need to get it right, bang on each time, and if it's a successful campaign, you can go modify the shirt again a little bit. I mean, you'll see in comments that people leave on your gigs, that they, like I said in previous videos, they thought that perhaps this character should have longer legs or a fatter stomach or anything like this. You should be taking notes of this. So if it's a successful campaign, when you relaunch, you can already have a new design done, and just relaunch to that market. Pump it, improve the design a little bit, as to what you've seen in the comments. And like I said, if you're just dealing with someone like Rod or K's Design, these guys are just going to be able to just make those changes very quickly and get it back to you, so you're not mucking around and you hit the ground running. Okay, so that's it for design resources. Let's have a look at the next vid.